So we'll go from the liquor is a gezerah. Let's get rid of the gezerah. So after the batala, so that the gezeras of the goyim is going to be mevatel, and the kanas of rabbanim for a gezerah of a goy we don't rip up. So if so, on shalishi nami ati ubal, if we say that he's going to come on Wednesday and have his way with the basula. So if we oiker it and put it on Tuesday, so then he'll just get up on Tuesday, and then he'll have his way. So misfeika lo akar nafshe. So from a suffix, he's not going to come out. So here vilakre Rashi hoyov mano to ika sakana. So since it's a sakana, therefore we should rip it up. On the third, Kaven diyada she het chilul inhog b'shlishi. So you see in this lashon here, people have begun to start getting married on Tuesday. So it's not a vaday, because when you have a Wednesday, so you go to a big enough town, there's always going to be a marriage on Wednesday because you're going to get married on Wednesdays. So I mean, obviously in Jerusalem, there's probably a marriage every day, and if you try to book a hall, you might have to wait months to get the hall because there's just weddings every day. So everyone's getting married on Wednesday, but then now the people were beginning to be noiheg on Shlishi, so therefore some marriages were now on Tuesday. So misfekilo akar nafshe keven delav kavias gomorhu. It's not a proper kavias because the Chachamim didn't say everybody go do it on Wednesday. So people themselves were noiheg to do it. Al yedei takanas based in, because the basin weren't the ones who were fixing it. So svekahu law he law, so that the guy who's coming, he doesn't even know if it's going to be a wedding or not. So he can't be bothered to come and reach the city and then have nothing to do when he gets there. Ubesheni lo yikanes. So on, you're not allowed to get married on Monday. Then machamas oines motor. But if because of the oines, then it's motor. My oines. What is this oines? Ilema had da amrinon. If the oines is what we said already, so that the Hagman is going to come and be Baal Yishus, as we saw that on Tuesday, they're also going to come and do it. Hasam karile sukana v'haka karile oines. Here they call it Sakana, and here they call it Oines. Seemingly there's a change in the Lashon there, that's a problem. And again, the top Toises referenced this before and said we have a better Kasha than just the change in Lashon. There, it's Osir on Tuesday, and there it was Mater, it was Osir, so you can't say because on Tuesday, on Monday you're not allowed, and here you're saying you are allowed, so therefore you can't be. That was the top toises there. So here we're saying my oines is what we just already said. It's called Zakon, and here it's called oines. The Su Hasam, even further question, Hasam Nagu Hakamoter. So what's this question here? So this is a Maklokas Rashi Toisvis, which we'll see. So Amarava da Amri Tsar Tzava Baleir. So that the Tzava, so there's an Amri, there's a call that goes out. Now this is something completely different. Before we had something to do with the Basulas. But now we have a whole different din. The Yachvtu, he's going to grab the Tzar Chitzuda Mishar Me Asher Yimtzo. So whatever he finds, he's going to grab that food. So therefore, on Wednesday, if he comes on Wednesday, then if you get married on Wednesday, so he's going to grab all the food. What's the case? If he's going to come, Rashi Chalef la'acharavi, so he's going to delay. The Yaakov, then let's just push it off. Ad Yom Revi, Shel Shabbos Haba. So let's do it till next week. Lo tzricha da'ati v'kava b'gimel. No, because he's going to come and he stays on Wednesday. Sorry, lo tzricha da'ati v'kava. So he comes and he stays. So since he says we can't push it off till next week because he's going to stay for a long time, since he's going to stay for a long time, then you can't push it off indefinitely. So begemo miha likanes. So you should. So if he's going to take all your food on Wednesday, so then get married on Tuesday. So afrusa day begemo kaatu. That his attendants are going to come on Tuesday, so they will come and take any food, and therefore, because of this oines, then they have to eat everything on. They have to have the suda on Monday, because on Tuesday the people are going to come to the city and take all the food that's there on Tuesday. On Tuesday, and then he himself is going to come on Wednesday. So v'chalef shlishi likanes lama natelo lakadim kol kach shelo yatriach v'suda ela yom echad. So again, we also have here that Rashi's mashma that has to be ritzufus, because why are they only doing 1 day? Let's do 2 days before the week. Let's do two days, and then if we get married on Monday, then we'll have Sunday, Friday, and Thursday your matriach. But here Rashi says you're only matriach on 1 day, so it's mashma. It has to be ritzufus your tircha. Oh, miikara takana shaktu, and then we're uprooting the takana of shaktu. That's what the day the chayil misharasov, that his army are going to come. Hamachnisa lo letzarchi tuda, and they're going to take all the suda. Beloshen laz herinish. So we left out the Hasam Naga. We'll get back to those when Tosfos deals with it. So we're up to the Tosfos here. The later shlahud onishari. Ein lefaresh the parachachi chachi. So this is not the way to understand it. That this is what we're saying. So lidrosh lahu teshuv lo yesakana. So they are willing to give their lives up because they think that it's Yarek Ve'al Yavar. So let's lidrosh lahu the onishai shari, and therefore it won't be sakana. So it'll be an oinus. V'amai ka'amar umisakana ve'elech. So why do you say misakana ve'elech? You should have said umena oinus ve'elech. That's not the question. That since it's not really sakana, it's only oines. That's not the question. Because if so, my mishani misham prutzis. Why are we answering because of prutzis? What's the problem with because of prutzis? The ha afilo lo darshinin lahu to oineshari lo masri nafshayu. So again, the prutzis are they are happy to have relations with lots of people. So they may not be looking for it, but once it happens, so they're not going to die for it because they're prutzis. They want more relations, so they're not going to be moister their nefesh in order to get out of this bia. So therefore, they're going to go with the bia. So therefore, it's the answer can't be because of prutzis, because the prutzis, even without this, they won't be moister nefesh. So there's no answer. We have if the question is enachinami, why are you calling it sakana? You should be calling it oines because of prutzis. How can that be an answer? Because the prutzis, it was never a sakana, and now let's call it oines now. Why are you calling it sakana? The dafka tznuos I'm reading to masrin nafshaya, because it's the tznuim that are in the sakana phase, not in the oines phase. The prutzis are always in the oines phase. So therefore, why are you calling them? Why the question can't be. You should be calling it oines, not sakana. Because it's the tzenuos that it's sakana, not oines. V'oid ki misham prutzis yaniach laharog hatznuos. So, what exactly is going on here that we're saying that it's an oines, it's not a sakana? Why is it an oines? Because the prutzis are happy to have relations, but the tznuos are not. So therefore, the tznuos are happy to kill themselves. It's a sakana for the tznuos. So therefore, because of the prutzis, we're going to have the tznuos kill themselves in the Yarek Ve'al Yavor. So this isn't what's going on in the Gemara. Elahachi Perusha. This is the Perush. Velidrosh lohu to oineshari. We should go tell them the oineshari. The kaven delika sakana amai lo michu biyatem chachamim. So since now that it's sorry, there is no sakana, that the tzenuyos who are maser nefesh will go tell them there's nothing to be moiser nefesh for, and then it's not a sakana. And therefore, you should go get married on Wednesday. You have no heter to not get married on Wednesday because it's not a sakana, it's only an oines. So again, we have a bit of an issue here in the Toisus. Toisus is saying he's happy in the question of the Gemara is that we're telling them lechatchila go be raped. We told you to get married on Wednesday, so go get raped on Wednesday. So again, you have the heter of Lenayra lo tasadavar, that she wasn't actually doing it and she doesn't have to kill herself for it. But sof is this like, is the Chachamim making it takana in order that they should experience the rape? It's a bit of a strange thing here. Mishani, we answer Misham Prutzes lo michu biyadam. So because of the Prutzes, because if we made him a chol and forced him to go on Wednesday, then the Prutzes would then do a barotzim. Inami Misham kahanas, because the kahanas will stay moisher nefesh because they don't want to be also to their husbands. So Visu Hasam. So Rashi up here, Hasan Nagu. We have a second part of the question. Hasam Visu Hasan Nagu Hakam Moser. This is the difference between Oines and Sakana. So Hasam Nagu Mashma Roibim Nagu. So the Nagu is in the plural, and it's the Rubam or Nagu. Most people are doing it. Hatka Mutter. Lo karsin lechatchila. So there's the girsa out there. Haka mutter lechatchila. The hachika mitame. This is the question of the Gemara. Haka mutter ketani de mashma im yimloch ish yachidi bebeistin yamulo. So if yatirulo. So if somebody comes to base and says, "Can I do it on Monday?" You'll say yes. Aval nagu lo ketani. We don't say it by nagu. So what exactly the question is here is that the people. If you go to Beis Din, so then they'll tell you to do it, but the people weren't doing it. So why over there, if you go to Beis Din, they don't tell you to do it? So Tosfos here, B'shalishi nogu, v'amrina b'perik basra de tainis. So we have this rule: man da amr nogu, oiri lo marinin. So Tosfos is explaining the question of the Gemara is like this: that when you have a nogu means people do it, but we don't tell them. So it's only b'di'evet. So b'di'evet, you can get married on Tuesday. V'haka b'sheni mutter lechatchila. And here on Monday it says mutter, which is the din of lechatchila. Just people were doing it, but we didn't tell them to do it. And if they come to Basin, we'll tell them don't do it. But b'di'evet, we're not going to make a fuss out of it. So the Tosfos' question is: Hasam is that on Tuesday it's nogu, that it's only kosher b'di'evet, but on Monday it's lechatchila. That's Tosfos' kasha. The parish of Kontrish, the parish nogu ruba da alma the hakamoter yechidi. So the way that Rashi is explaining it is that Roiv are doing it on the Monday, on the Tuesday, and the motor, but it's motor for a yachid on Tuesday. So and lo garsin lechatchila ve'enu miyushev. So Tosfos doesn't understand b'chlal what Rashi's question is. Rashi and Tosfos are both explaining the Gemara. According to Tosfos, the question of the Gemara is. Why is Wednesday b'di'evet and Tuesday is and Monday is lechatchila? Doesn't make any sense. So that's the question of the Gemara. But according to Rashi, what's the problem? The Roiv is doing it without the Roiv is doing it, but the Yachid is doing it. If you ask, the Yachid is allowed to do it on Monday. So maybe what the whole Gemara is saying is that most people are doing it on Tuesday, but the singles can also do it on Monday. So the people who didn't go to Beis Din do it on Tuesday, and then on Monday, then the individuals do it. So Tosfos doesn't understand there in Rashi what the din is, like what exactly is the question here. So Ritva doesn't like Tosfos. Yeshapirish hasam nagu b'di'evet v'hakamoter lechatchila. That's how Tosfos explains the kasha of the Gemara. But lo neira, it doesn't appear correct at all. Dem kain heichi meshani da amri starts up a balir. How can we say that this guy's coming to the city? V'kim ipnei shabbat misha chotev tzarchi suda sharinin tefei. So we're saying. So again, we have the oines. The sakana is with. Oines, with rape, and the oines is because someone's going to eat the food. So why are we being more makel with someone eating food than saving somebody from rape? But again, we saw that Tosfot doesn't really seem to care about sending the woman in. We're going to say lechatchila, the woman should get married on Wednesday and get raped because it's mutter, or it's not. There's no iser shabbat, so just get raped. But Ritva doesn't like that. Kim ibnei shabbat, misha chaytev sarchisura shrinim tefei mimayda shrinim ibnei sakana. So lakach perish Rashi. So here Ritva is going like Rashi hasanogu klom kulam urubam for some. So they're doing it, but for Hesi they're doing it in a state of publicity. Haka mutter the mashmir yachid shabalim loch morinlo. Of a law der shinen. So on Wednesday we're doing it. So everyone's getting married on Tuesday publicly, and only some people are doing it on Monday. So that's how Rashi's explaining it. We don't darshinen in the pirk. We don't, with the chachamim don't go out and tell everybody they should go get married on Monday. But for Hesia, for lo avdin and haki be pirsum, parkinen to leka ela mishum tzartzeva ba leir. And we answer because it's only because the tzartzava comes to the city. So that since it's a lesser, so the answer is that since it's a lesser iser, so then we don't not everyone is doing it on that day. But according to Rashi, more people are doing it on the Wednesday, and lesser people are doing it on the Tuesday, and so lesser people are doing it on the Monday. So the reason is, so then the Gemara answers, because the guy's coming to just to take the food, so therefore there you're going. Since it's less of a sakana, so therefore you go to Beis Din, and then less people are doing it because of the food. So Tosfos I da'ati v'chalef liyakev. If the guy comes and he hangs around, so liyakev Persia contras chalef la'achar daled, that we should delay the wedding till after Wednesday or to the next Wednesday. But liyakev ad yom daled shel Shabbos. Haba. So we do it till the next Wednesday. So if Rashi's whole, the way Rashi understands the question is that we're just keep on delaying the wedding to the next Wednesday. So how can you answer? Because the guy comes and he stays. Because akati yakev chodesh or chodshayim or chodashim ad sheyelech. So just keep on delaying. If Rashi's whole thing is just delay the wedding until another Wednesday, so keep on delaying. Okay, so why are we putting it back to Tuesday? Okay, nira leri sheim yitakev kol yom daled ein lo liyakev ad yom daled acher. So if he is Yaakov kol yom daled, so if the guy's here for the whole Wednesday, we're not going to push off the wedding for a week. Eila yikanes begimel. They for sure should get married on the Tuesday. The hachi park, and this is the whole question. Iati v'chalef bedaled gufa. So the guy comes, and you have the chuppah set for 6 p.m. and he leaves at 7 p.m. So he comes on Wednesday, but he leaves on Wednesday. So liyakev ad dechalef. So delay your chuppah till 7:30, till after he leaves. Umeshani de'ati v'kava kol yom daled. And the answer is that he's staying the whole of Wednesday. So therefore, you kick it back till Tuesday. So in Tosfos in the question, you already understand that if he's going to be there the whole day on Wednesday, for sure we're not just going to delay it. This idea of delaying a wedding because the guy's there, or we won't allow you to get married on the Tuesday. So, but we already know, no, you can get married on the Tuesday. But if the guy's going to leave on the Wednesday, delay it and just have it later on Wednesday, and you'd be able to makayim all the Takanas Chazal. And we say, no, he's going to stay there the whole day of Wednesday, and therefore you kick it back till Tuesday. So, b'shlishi mihal likanes v'lo boy lemeimor de ati shar haba begimel dim kein yichanus bedalet. So on Tuesday mihal likanes we can't answer because the guy's coming on Tuesday. Because what did we answer? We answered that his chayil is coming on Tuesday, that his posse are coming on Tuesday. But he himself, he's not coming on Tuesday. So the Gemara didn't answer, he's coming on Tuesday. Because if he's himself going to come on Tuesday, so then they'll kick off the Wednesday back to Wednesday. They'll kick off the wedding back to Wednesday. So therefore he's coming on Wednesday, and his posse's coming on Tuesday, therefore they kick it back to Monday. So isparsati day begimol ata ein letamua mishum suda according to kanas to Rabbanan beis yomim. So that we have a hefsed suda, which is a hefsed Maruba, but for this Hefsid Maruba, we are going to remove the Takanas Rabbanon for 2 days. And don't be amazed at that, because even though we have a sakana, we only do it 1 day. So for the sakana, why don't we do it 2 days? Ela yom echad. De beida sagay hagman shchiach shiragil lavo v'levo. So that since the guy coming and the guy having his way with the basulim, that is common. Since it's common, if we were to uproot it 2 days, then it will come to be forgotten, because it's a common thing and it'll be forgotten all the time. Because everybody then would be getting married on Monday or Sunday or whatever, and the shoktu you wouldn't have. Val oines shortzava eno ela ikri ba'alma, since it's not it doesn't happen so often. Even though that you oiker it 2 days, since you oiker it 2 days, then it won't be forgotten, because it's not common that this happens. Here, this kind of fits in with what Rashi's saying, because Rashi says that the mutter, this is what how the Ritva is explaining Rashi, that since it's less common, so therefore only individuals are coming. So you don't say it for Hesia because it's less common, but the more common thing is for Hesia, and you tell everyone to get married on Tuesday, but you don't tell people to get married on Monday because it's not for Hesia. But Tosis here, Chayra agrees, so that's far. So Takanas Rabbanim Mikemi Gezerah Lo Akrinan. So we say above that we're going to get rid of it completely, and we saw this in the Hagosh Ashri, that we're going to uproot it, and then you don't have to be moisture nefesh for it. So we don't say that the Takanas Rabbanim Mikemi Gezerah. So we just uprooted it. We're happy in the question. We're happy to uproot it. So why do we answer differently here? So there's 2 different types of takanas here. The first takana is in order to be lahavrim al das, that we're going to remove the Jews from keeping the Torah. So the Chachamim say get married on Wednesday, so the Goyim say don't get married on Wednesday. So once they remove the takana, and then you get married on a Tuesday, or you get married on a Monday, whatever they change it to, the Goyim have done what they tried to do. So God says keep Shabbos on Saturday, and the Jews said don't keep Shabbos on Saturday. So once you move it to a different day, the Goyim have lost interest now, because they've done what they tried to do. The lahavirim al das. They want to stop the Jews keeping the Torah. So once you remove it, once you fix on another day, they don't care anymore, because the Iker Takan is gone, and therefore they have achieved their purpose. The Lo Mikara Takan is the Rabbanan, so therefore we don't rip up the Takanas Rabbanan, because there is still a fixed day, so therefore the Takanas Rabbanan isn't completely gone, and that goes like the Bach, which you were saying before, where when you oiker, you have the Hanukkah candles in the chutzner, and then when you oiker the chutzner because of sakana, then you put it on your table. So you haven't uprooted the takana completely. You've just moved the takana to a different geder, but the guf of the takana is the same. Aval, which is where we're talking about, the guy comes with the basulim perach leukare v'lo yeshom yom kavua. We're not going to have any day kavua. Once you have a kavua day, then the guy will know when to come and steal the women from the chuppah. So if there's no kavua day, he won't know what day to come. Shemi kavua yom atu bal, because once you could say the Jews get married on this day, then he'll come on that day. Ba'oto yom v'lahachi mashani mekam gezerah lo akrin into kanas rabbanan shelo yeh shum yom kavua. So we can't have this idea. We can't oiker a takanas legamri. So in the first day we had, it was a completely fixed takana of Wednesday, and that's the only din, that's the only takana. So when we say uproot it, we mean just move it to another day. Now that we have other days, we're saying remove it completely and not have any kavua day, and there we say we're not going to do that. Ihachi b'shlishi nami ati ubal perish I amrita bishlama akademikara damri basula shinisa bedalet tihereg. So if we say originally that the basula were married on Wednesday will die, that was the original takana. Ve'eno miskave and haviram, and their whole kavana is only to get to do a different day. They don't care about it, but just do a different day. Lo yechu im yasu b'yom gimel. They don't care if the goyim don't care if they do it on Tuesday. Eli yamantu misham b'ilas hegemon kevan shemiskaven lehanos b'shishinami atu bal. So we have to make a chiluk here as to why originally when we said is it because they're going to kill people that we didn't really care, but now and then on Tuesday they're not going to what? So why are the goyim not going to come and kill people on Tuesday as well if they get married? Because they've achieved their purpose, and it's not lahas atzmon. The whole point is to remove the Jews from the das chachamim. Whereas if a guy's coming to take women from the chuppah, therefore he's not coming for he's not coming to oikir das. He's coming for hanas atzmo. Therefore, whenever the kaveh day is, that's when he'll come and be boil. So now we reach the point of the iboy seima. The iboy seima is a my machmas oinus. We have a whole different din here of why are you getting married on Tuesday because of oinus. So Kidatanya, we have this brisa. Hooray, shahaya pitoy afui, v'tavchoy tavuach, v'yayno mazuk. So Kidatanya, we have a chasen, and his father died on Monday. V'ein yachol ahamtin ad lamachar. He can't wait until tomorrow. Now, what does Rashi mean here? He can't wait until tomorrow. He should wait until tomorrow because he's meant to get married on Wednesday because of Sakana. He can't wait until tomorrow. Because if he waits until tomorrow, he would need to delay the maid, to keep the maid over until he enters into the chuppah. So we're going to see that you have to do the chuppah first and then bury the maid. And once you bury the maid, you can't get married. Now we have three things. His bread is baked. He has shechted the beast for his feast, and his wine is mixed. Now Rashi only goes on the third one here. He doesn't bother discussing anything else. V'yayin muzug b'mayim sheyeh roi l'shtia, so that you mix it in with water so that the wine is fitting to drink. V'shovenu miskayim, and now the wine, you can keep it in barrels, but now once you start putting the water into the wine, it's going to start to decay. It's going to start to go bad. You only have a certain amount of time in order to drink the wine. So the Rashba here says that Pito Afuyi v'tavach tavuk v'yanamaz mistavra delav kula boy ela or katani. Now, what does this word mistavra mean? What? It's mistavra. We haven't actually seen the din, so maybe we'll actually see what exactly is going on in the Gemara. But you have all these things. Umeisaviv shel chatan or ima shel kala. So we have the father of the chasen, the male, or the mother of the bride. So they get married, and then they have everything ready for the feast, and then they die. And obviously, the death was after they had all these things ready. So machnisin et hameis lacheder. So you put the mace into the room. So you're like, so why are we doing that? And then they get married. Uboil bi'iyas mitzvah, and then they have their mitzvah bia. Upoiresh, and then they stop. Rashi says v'yikvares emeis miyad. So this is kind of in here that between prayer, and then noiheg sheves yemei hamishta. After burying the dead, you then have the sheva brachas. V'yachar kach noiheg sheves yemei Aveilus, and then you have 7 days of Aveilus. So that's the ikar of the brisa. So because you have these foods ready, so there's a loss. Since there's a loss, then if the father of the chatan and the ima of the kala die, so Rashi davka neked aviv shel chatan shehu hatoyreich b'tzarchi suda, because the father is the one who's organizing the suda for the chasen. Why is the chasen not doing it himself? We'll have to see later. The ima shel kala he himachana la tachshitin, and that the kala, the mother of the bride, is preparing the jewelry for the woman, for the bride, and therefore im yavor ha moyed shov. So if they wait 30 days of Aveilus until they get married, Shovein makin lechem. There's nobody to prepare for them, so that they're going to lose the whole wedding, and they can't have this suda b'chlal. Vatiru lehem lehachnises ameis lecheder, so that they don't bury him. So this is like a trick to not bury him. That you can't have the wedding in front of the. Just don't bury him and leave him there. You can't have the. It's a bezoyan to the mace, that your mace is in front of you and then you're getting married. It's a bezoyan to the mace. So therefore you have to move the mace, but you don't bury him. Because if you bury him, kicks in the Aveilus, and then you can't get married. Shaloi kivaru to im kain chala Aveilus ala aval. And if you bury them, then the Aveilus chals on the aval, bestimus a goylel, as you say later on, v'shav lo yechol lekanes ad shiv or Aveilus, and therefore you can't get married until the Aveilus is over. So we're doing all this. This is because of the loss of the Suda. So says the Rashba, mistavra de lav kuluhu boyela or katani. So he's saying that we just need a small loss. That pito, even if your bread's ready, right? That's it. We're going to be doicha the Aveilus. So again, here we need to understand why is the Aveilus being nitcha here. Why you get married? Just you just keep the Aveilus and don't get married. No, because you're going to lose your chalas. If you lose your chalas, then that's too much of a loss. So we're just going to kick off the Aveilus, or your beast is shechted, or your wine is mixed. Now the beast being shechted is going to be a big loss, whereas having the bread it's a lot less. So the Rashba is happy here that mistavra de lav kuluhu boy ela or katani, that you don't need a big loss. It's not a big loss. Even for a small loss, we'll be doicha the Aveilus. So the Shira Mekabetzis goes in Rashi katav nami v'yainu mazug, that the wine is mixed. So he's going on this Rashi, which we saw. B'mayim she'iroi l'shtia shovena miskayim. That's what Rashi says. Perish katav kain. Why did Rashi say this? Ki heichi de lo neima deleka hefsed ki im b'tavuach. So Rashi is explaining that, because I would think, again, the ikr loss is that you've shechted the behema, and the behemas are expensive, and if you lose the behema, that's like the main, what you're paying for the meat of the wedding is going to be the main expense of the meal. So, so we don't just say, so Rashi's telling you, this is how the Shita Mitzvah is understanding this Rashi. Don't think that the ikr loss is the meat. So the ikr is going on the shaktin of the behemoth. We say in the Talmud, lo shanu ela shenat tamayim. The hat naket pitu afoy v'yain mazuk lemei mar shiei muchan mikol v'kol. So that it's just so the ikr is on the meat, and the other things are just telling us that we have everything in the Suda. Lahaki katav Rashi yanu mazuk b'mayim v're'ik peseda b'hai. There's a loss in this. You can't prepare this mishum the boy shir maim shir roy l'shtia. So that you need this. So here the Shita Mekabetzis adds that zed sarach umnus. That it's I would just think that you could just add water to wine and off you go and you start drinking it. But here the Shita Mekabetzis says that it's an omnus. It's a craft. It's a level of expertise in order to mix up the wine. And since you're able to mix up, so since you've mixed up the wine, to get it mixed again isn't so simple, and it's going to loss. So therefore, it needs omnus and kevin shakene al korcha o katani v'kamosha kasav harashba. So the Shita Mekabetzis is medayik in Rashi that since Rashi's medayik in the wine and explaining the loss in the wine, that even just the loss of the wine is enough to kick off the Aveilus. And then the Shita says, "Mihoritva katav lekaman aval lo nitan mayim agav basar mavzin." We just sell it. Ve'im timer denahi de basar mavzin ha'i kepeseda b'yan hamazok ve'ishloimer dekevin de basar de mavzin and shapir. Since you can sell the basar afal gav de yain mazok lo mavzin, and so you were able to get your money back for the meat. You couldn't get the money back for the wine. Shapir, it's okay. You'll sell it for a bit, but lo peseda gedoyla. So the Ritva says that you need peseda gedoyla and since you need a Peseda Gedoyla, so therefore you need all three of them. So in the Gemara, that you'll need the Pitu Efoi V'Tavuk Tavuk L'Yena Mazug, all three of them is what you need according to the Ritva, but according to the Rashba and it can be Medaik and Rashi, that it's you only need one of them. Once you have one of them, so then you have this loss that the Chachamim are happy for you to be Daiche. So if we have a look at the Rambam, so the Rambam in Halach Zavel Halach Beit, so Meimatai is Chayv Adam Ba'avel Yishastayim Hagoylo. So when do you become an oval? When you cover up the grave. And that's kind of what Rashi's already said. About Kol Zman Shelo Nikvar Hameis Eina Aser Bedavar Min Hadavarim Sha'aval Aser Behen. So all the time that you haven't buried them, so therefore he's not aser in anything that the oval is aser in him, and because of this time, so David David did something. He was washing with the when he was doing Aveilus for the kids. Or did he do it? So he's answering that question. Now, Ukazabal Turim, this is in the Shita, the Ken Kasav Haritz Ben Hichas, so that the Rambam and the Ritz Geus both hold that. Now, what are they saying? They're saying that an Oinain does not have the din of an oval. So an Oinain is from the time of Misa until the time of burial. And the Rambam is saying that the Oinain is potter from mitzvahs. And so too says the Rias Chiz, She'eino aser bein Misa lekavura. It's an Oinain. But so these are the ikr things. Washing the clothes and cutting your hair and washing yourself and tashmir samita. And our key one is going to be tashmir samita. Ubishar gezerus sheva. So the gezerus sheva are the dins is the din of Aveilus. So the oinain is potter from the din of Aveilus. If you're an oval, you can't have bia rishona. But if you're oval, you can't have bia. But if you're an oinain, you can, says the Rambam, and the Rizkiz argues. The cuts of a Ramban, but the Ramban argues on this, Shagahi Masha Hetira B'Tashma Shemitah. Because the Ramban is arguing, and he holds that an oinain is chayiv in mitzvahs. So, the pashtus of the Rambam as to why an oinain is potter from mitzvahs is because an oinain is potter from all mitzvahs. An oinain has a mitzvah to bury the dead, and he's potter in all mitzvahs. He doesn't wear tefillin. He doesn't do any of these things. So, therefore, he's potter also from the mitzvah of aninus of Aveilus. So the mitzvahs of Aveilus he's potter from. Therefore, he can have bia. So if we see here, so umeis alvev shel chatan or ima shel kala. So now we can't let them bury them. So he's an oinen now. So since he can have bia, we quickly stick them into you get them married in the chuppah, and then they have relations, and then they poirish, and then they have the 7 shemei mista. So Rashi poirish v'yikvar esames. So after they have their first bia, then they bury the dead miad immediately. The kaven dechala alav chatuna have legabe keregel. So this is going to be the ikar svara going through the sugya. That once his chatuna has chala on him, once he has got married, then the chatan is in his regel. If he's in the regel, and v'lo asi aveilus v'chayla, so that the aveilus doesn't chayl on the regel. So on the 7 days of on the Sheva brachas, he has this regel, and therefore, just like a regel, you don't have a veilus chal in a regel. So too, once he gets married, the veilus doesn't chal. But now hamishta. So again, he's stuck because he has this hefsed. Now he has the hefsed. Then there's a mace of an av or a mace of the ima, and the Gemara is going to go in later and say davka those two. Then now, because of the hefsed, they have to get around the problem, so they can't bury the dead, so they put him away so he's not in front of it's a bezoyan to have the mace in front of the chuppah. So they put him into his own room. Then the Chatan and the Chala, they get married. Then they have their bia. And now, since they have their bia, now they have the regal. And since they have the regal, then they have their 7 days of mishta, because the Aveilus doesn't chal until the 7 days of Aveilus. So that's the simple reading of the Gemara. Now, why do they need to have a bia? So the Chatan and the Chala go to the chuppah. Why is that enough to have the regal? The Chala alav chatuna to have a legabe karegal. So seemingly, if once you get married, now you're into your regal. So one poshut way to learn it is that the chuppah is needing need to be roy lebia. Since it needs to be roy lebia, therefore you have to have this bia. Because if you have the bia, if you're not allowed to have the bia, then the chuppah isn't roy lebia. As we saw before with the Rambam, is the Rambam Shita is that you need a chuppah roy lebia. So therefore here you have to have the chuppah. You have to have the baal. You have to have the bia, because if you just had the chuppah and then you had to do the Aveilus, or you had you had to have the bia after the Aveilus, therefore the whole chuppah is not roy lebia. Therefore you can't have it. So that's one shita. Another way to understand is that the regel doesn't kick in until you have your bia, and that the chuppah by itself is not enough to have a regel, but in order to have the regel starts once you have the bia. So that's the pashtus in Rashi, because he says bo basensu poiresh. This is where Rashi's saying that it's like a regel for the chatan only once he has the bia. And once he has the bia, he's poiresh because he's not allowed to have bias. He's only doing it. They were only makel with him in order to have the chatan and to chal the regel, and then he has to be poiresh. And now he's poiresh, then he goes. He then goes into the sheva me'amishta, and then he has the Aveilus afterwards. We're still stuck with the question: is that how can we do all this? This regel is this din deraisa? So one shita is yes. The Simchas Chatan V'Kala is a mitzvah deraisa, and therefore it's doicha the mitzvah deraisa of Aveilus. But the Pasha says is that the Simchas Chatan V'Kala is a derabanan din, so therefore how can they be doicha Aveilus? So again, a simple teretz is that Aveilus is derabanan, and the Simchas Chatan V'Kala is the Rabbanan. But most Shitas hold that at least the first day of Aveilus is deraisa. And if the first day of Aveilus is deraisa, therefore how can we have the Chatan V'Kala pushing it off? So the Ritva answers as a Sheva Altasa. They were able to be doicha the Aveilus deraisa with the Sheva Altasa. This is a very strange Sheva Altasa, because what is the Sheva Altasa? The Sheva Altasa is the Chassan is doing bia with the Kala. Why is this a Sheva Altasa? This is the Kumvaase. So here we have a svara of the Divrei Yechezkel that he fits it into the Rambam and says this is how the Rambam holds that there's one mitzvah of Aveilus, and that's called Hanhagas Aveilus. There's 5 or 6 different dinim, which is don't wash, and don't have bia, and don't cut your hair. All these things are not separate mitzvahs, but it's a hanhaga. It's an acting of Aveilus. How can you have bia when you have the weight of the death upon you? How can you do these things when somebody's died? So you have a hanhaga, and if you have somebody he didn't know that his korov, that someone he has to do Aveilus for, someone he didn't know this person was dead, and he was wearing Nike trainers for 7 days because that's what he wears. He wasn't wearing leather shoes. So was he like Yoitze part of Aveilus? Was he doing Aveilus there? So the Pasha says he's not. He has to have Hanhagas Aveilus. So since he was just doing this, he didn't cut his hair for 7 days. It's not Aveilus if you don't even know that the person's dead. So the thing called Hanhagas Aveilus. The Hanhagas Aveilus is that you're makabeling upon yourself all the dins, all the dine of Aveilus, and therefore that is the So the Sheva Al Tasa is don't makabel upon yourself the Hanhagas of Aveilus. Once you don't makabel upon yourself the Hanhagas of Aveilus, therefore you're able to have this Bias Mitzvah. And that's, we've answered all the Iker questions there, whether you knew they were there or not. All the Iker questions of this part have been answered. You might need to go over it again to see how they're all done. So, Toisipol b'mitzvah poirish, koidem she kavera mace. So you have to do this all before the mace is buried. Aval la'acher shenikver lo. So Toisis there is holding that again by Aveilus you're not allowed to have bia, but by aninus you are allowed to have. If you're an oinen, you are allowed to have bia. So devarim shel tzniya, as we'll see later on, is that things that are hidden, that you're not allowed on Shabbos to do Aveilus, but things that nobody will know about. So devarim shel tzniya, that if they're hidden, you are allowed to be an oval about it. So if nobody will know if you're having tashmish or not, therefore it's davar shel tzin, and therefore you're noihig that. But so therefore by Aveilus you're not allowed to do it. V'dayikla midikatani koloitzin hayamim. So where medayik is going to be Toys' problem. He says, where are we medayik this from? From all those days he sleeps by the men. So this is the next part of the Gemara. Mihu meresha dechaka lo. So the next part of the Gemara here, v'kol oitzin yomim, who he sleeps amongst the men. And she sleeps amongst the women, but only lower down we repeat this idea, and that's where we're medayik it from. But we don't medayik it from here. The davka kashemes becheder hu deshari b'bias mitzvah, because we can say here we're saying that our case is where he's in the cheder, the mace is in the cheder. That's where he's allowed to have the bias mitzvah. The matzi l'tchuye, we're able to push off this answer. The boil b'mitzvah hayinu afilu la'achar shechal alav Aveilus. You can say, no, but the Bias Mitzvah is even after Aveilus. Aval, Kasha. So, the Ibn Medayik in the Brisa, that it's only in the Cheder for the Shas of the Chuppah. But for the Bias Mitzvah, it would be afterwards. So again, it doesn't even say anywhere where you bury him, so it could be that it's only in the Cheder for the Chuppah, Uboil Bias Mitzvah, you're able to say that was after the mace. So therefore you can't be medayik from this brisa that in Aveilus it's also for tashmish. So filu achar shechal Aveilus aval kasha l'rashba. Amai lo daik mida katani poiresh. The fact that it says so in the Reisha we are able to be medayik that Aveilus is tashmish in Aveilus is also because why you poiresh? Just keep on going. Ela you're also betashmish by Aveilus. Mechlal denoihek devarim shotzina midelo heter ela bidas mitzvah. Davka, we're only doing the first one. For oimeri dahavi matzulemeimar pirish mishum dam basulim. So we're able to say that this upoirish. Why is he poirish? He's poirish because of dam basulim. Now dam basulim is not dam nida. Dam basulim is mutter. It's nothing because again dam nida is also when it comes from that place. It comes from the makor. Then the woman's anida and she's taming those type of stuff. Dam basulim is coming from the basulim and it's not coming from the makor. Therefore that dam is mutter. But we're machmir and poirish with dam basulim, even though there's not dam nida. So that chumrah. So maybe the poirish is because of the chumrah of dam basulim. Because I remember tinokas. Aval mihu yashim ben anashim daik shapir. So maybe the poirish. So we don't know that this poirish is because of Aveilus. Maybe it's because of dam besulim, and therefore we have to be medayik that why he has to sleep by the men. Daik shapir dahave mishum Aveilus. It has to be mishum Aveilus because then they're not allowed in yichud. De'i mishum nidus. Maybe they're in yichud because of nida. The kevin de baal ishtoi. So for sure, he has done this. He's done the bia. Since he's done the bia, yishna imo. There's no din of yichud with a man and a woman who's in nida. If a man's wife is in nida, he's not also be yichud with her. He's allowed to be in yichud with her. Only if they haven't had a bia. If they haven't had any bia at all, then he's also to be in yichud with her. But in our case, they've had bia. Kata Amar Rav Yosef b'samoch. We say that we'll see that later that they're only also be yichud when they haven't had relations. So So b'chol oito yamim is that this 14 days that they're separate. The inami misham Aveilus, because she's only nida for one. She's only in nida for 7 days. You can't have all 14 days being for nida because it's only once. It's all for Aveilus. V'hashta makilin to face. So now we're more makel, but aninus deraisa. So aninus deraisa then Aveilus the rabbanon. So by aninus deraisa. So again, and most people hold that the aninus is deraisa, and then the Gaonim hold that the first day of Aveilus is the rabbanon, and then the rest is deraisa, and then the rest of the days of Aveilus is the rabbanon. So for sure, the 30 days of Aveilus is the rabbanon. So in the 30 days in Aveilus of the rabbanon, we osir tashmish, but in the aninus deraisa we matter tashmish. So therefore, we're mekel tefei aninus deraisa. Midi to have a anila sando vitav harosh v'kafir samita. All these things are osir for a ovel, but is mutter for an oinen. So Tosfos is saying, don't be surprised that we're more mekel with the aninas than we are with Aveilus, because we have that in other places as well. So Tosfos asked the question, B'ilus mitzvah, why is it a B'ilus mitzvah? What's the mitzvah here? Kari le B'ilus mitzvah mishum dechtiv ki bo'elai chasayach. So the pashas is that you have this mitzvah of purarovu, but there's a halacha that you don't, or it's understood that you don't get pregnant from the first bia. So it's a, why is it called the base mitzvah? Because it's not it's not the mitzvah of purarovu. So it says it's because there's a posuk that says bo'elai chasayach. That Amrinan ein isha karesis bris ela lemish oisa kli. That the woman makes a bris, she makes a covenant with whoever makes her into a kli. So whoever has that first bia with her, she has a special connection with that person forever. Vali de kach midbach ba, and through that, so by having this first bia, even though there's no babies coming out of it, you are creating a bond together. And through this connection which you're making, then you come to Puririvia, ulahachi kari leila beila rishona bilis mitzvah, and therefore we're calling the bias rishona bias mitzvah. So it's difficult to say this is a bias mitzvah because there's no Puriruvu. But Tosfos is saying that this is what is going to bring the people together, and since you bring them together, then that will bring to further togetherness and the eventual fulfilling of the mitzvah of Puruvu, and that's why it's a bias mitzvah.